figuring with the Zerglings he's going for, and again, no clue what lair tech he's going for. My plan is to go for Zealots with leg speed, and then have those tank for my Colossi. Looks like he's going to do some scouting here. Not really sure why he's sending all these Zerglings. You can just send one or two to scout all around the map, but Speedlings are quite good. I did get an observer out, so I did see those Speedlings move out of position. Looks like he's going to suicide an Overlord in here to try to get some information, but this is not a very good place to suicide that in. I'd rather see it suicided in here, as he's going to be able to see more of my tech, as I am going to keep it in my main. So he did see my army comp there. He knows I'm mostly Zealots. He might have even seen that Colossus. If we look at the production, he is getting up a Spire. So if I do not push out shortly with these Colossus Zealot army, he's going to be able to get up some Corruptors and counter these Colossi pretty easily. He is trying to dump all of his resources into upgrades, as we see melee attack level 1, ground carapace level 1, Baneling speed, and roach speed. If we look at the army tab though, he just does not have much army, as he is basically just trying to macro up. The 52 drones is not all that good on these 3 bases. I'd like to see 60, 70 on 3 bases there. So both players not really doing a great job macroing up, well over 1,000 minerals. At this point I am trying to keep my gateways on cooldown, and they are on cooldown, but I just don't throw up enough warp gates early on, especially with this fast expand. I could probably be producing off 6-7 gateways, so that's why my macro is kind of falling behind. I do see these Zerglings coming in a little bit late. Going to try to throw down some force fields. I did have more energy on these sentries. Should have thrown down more force fields around these Colossi. But as he's trying to focus down these Colossi, these Zealots, now with leg speed and +1, are just ripping through these Zerglings, two-shotting the Zerglings. And if we look at the army tab, 2100 to 50 right now. So not really sure where those 2 Zerglings are, but they've got to be trembling as they see all these Zealots. Pumping out more Colossi here, falling behind a little bit in my macro on this robotics facility. One thing I try to do, though I didn't do this game, is hotkey that robotics facility or any stargates that I create. It's easy enough to grab W and get the warp gates and macro off those, but remembering to keep the robotics facility and stargates producing at all times, a little more challenging, not quite as easy mode. So I try to put those on 3 and then just keep Immortals and Colossi coming out of them. Looks like I am finally working on another Colossi. Not really sure why I'm not pushing in here. I think I'm waiting for another wave of gateway units. I might have thrown down a few more gateways, up to 7 I should be shortly. So we see he's mostly having Zerglings. Don't really agree with going after that Colossus there, as I did play Ring Around the Rosie around my Stalkers and Zealots and was able to take down a number of Zerglings. And now he just does not have enough army to support these bases here. So I was able to stay back, macro up a little bit. He did have that Baneling bust, which was quite successful taking on my army. And then, well, he doesn't think he should have lost there. But I was able to survive the Baneling bust. He did not do the run by when he could have on the ramp. Again, not feeling very comfortable about this ramp. The cannons are in place, so they do prevent the any sort of aggression early on. But later on, this ramp could be a an easy avenue to get in your base. I should keep a sentry here if I'm going to do this build, something like it. That way I can block it off. That would have saved me a lot of trouble early on when Zerglings got into my main, and then it would have prevented any run by after that Baneling bust. So, not really sure why he thinks he should have won here. Both players not really doing a great job macroing up. See, he's at 1700 and 2200. He never really got a fast lair and chose a lair tech. If he had 20 Hydras when I pushed out at his gold expansion here, I would have been toast, I think, if he had the Hydras with Zerglings. But he mostly didn't get off Zerglings the entire game. It was successful early on when he did the Baneling bust, but you really need to tech swap, especially off of 3 bases, and he probably could have thrown down a 4th, maybe a 5th as well, as he just had so much in the way of minerals, maybe a proxy hatchery in his main as well. But Muta Harass or Hydralisk would have sunk me a little bit, so I need to figure out a better way to put pressure on my opponents with this build, or maybe just stop losing so many units, and maybe I have more units towards the end of the game if I hadn't had to run my probes all over the place. but definitely against a better player this would not work. So kind of getting lucky in a lot of these games where I'm trying new things, and that the player, well, sometimes the player is cooperative in their play style and skill level. But able to beat a 1500 Zerg, and I'm only 1300. I guess that's pretty much the same skill. So hopefully be trying more new builds in the future that I can bring you. Hopefully you guys can leave some comments, things I did right or wrong. Definitely understand that there's a lot I did wrong in this game. If I didn't mention something, maybe leave a comment, something I can improve upon. But definitely looking to learn and try to get in more games despite all the casting I've been doing. It's sort of hard to keep up with both, but gonna do my best. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the flip side.